Hey everybody, my name is Jon Baldwin. I am 27 years old. I'm from Philadelphia, PA, and I am a professional dancer and just an all-around creative. My earliest memory of doing anything like inside of the arts, of course, is like church. We all started dancing in church first. But outside of church, I remember being in middle school and they had a hip hop like team or whatever. So my gym teacher, her name was Miss Joseph, she was like, you need to come. So I asked my mom and I went there. It was called Showstoppers. So I performed with them for maybe like a year and a half. And then after that, I left and went to dance school. But I just remember like wanting to be a part of something. And I feel like social dance has always been a part of my life. So like just dancing around the house or like watching movies. Like my mom was a very big movie person. So we would watch the same, like The Wiz, like just different things that just always made me like, I was filled with energy. So that was around the house. And then I just wanted to like direct it and like really do something with it. So my mom wanted me to be somewhere more organized and that had more like opportunity for me. So she was like, you should go to this dance school. One of my teachers from the summer camp that I went to was at Grace Dance Theater. My mom was like, I want you to go there and take hip hop there, whatever. So I took hip hop there for 1 year and it was weird. Like it was different being in that environment. Like it was a bunch of like girls. There was no guys in my class. I always had to like come up with something else to do than teachers were asking to do because like, you know, the whole gender norm thing at that time, like, you know, whatever. But it was an interesting transition. 9th grade is when I took tap. So I took tap and hip hop and it was like, okay, even more like, okay, we're still going. The year after that is when I took ballet for the first time. And at the time, Miss Carol, when she was still alive, we were doing the big ballet for the dance school. So all of the ballet classes were a part of the same suite. I don't think I started ballet in the beginning of that school year, but I think as they were like building that suite, she was like, son, come over here and do this. So it was very simple, like a glissade, a jeté, a partner in a little fish dive, like, and I thought it was like the most thrilling thing in the world. After that, it was like, okay, what is grace? Like, what is training company? What are they doing? They're jumping to their knees. They're like doing these so because of the type of like learner that I am and the type of person that I am when it comes to dancing, I just wanted to keep checking boxes. So for a few years, like after that, so I was like 15, maybe going on 16. From then until me applying to like college, it was like, that's the most prominent time for like my training, like my wanting to dance. Like I remember that time so vividly.
Like what's like one of the first pieces you were casted in that you were like, kind of had a real big like impact on you? Like it was a canon event, like it needed to happen for you to do that to like get to the rest of like your journey.
I feel like The Battle by Sharon Matt was like the first moment where I actually like worked to be inside of something. It was a very difficult process, especially with like the facility that I had at the time, but I knew how to listen. So it kind of like, I don't know, it carried me a little bit, and it also just stayed with me. Her process stayed with me and how I like would go about creating my own choreography after that time. So I was like maybe 17 at that time. So that's when I kind of started teaching at other studios, or even teaching in-house or whatever. And I remember like thinking back to like that process and, you know, what she needed from us and how hard we kind of had to like push in order to help her vision come to life. So I kind of carried that with me. That piece was the most like, that was that first moment for sure. Yeah, I mean, actually, yes. I had people saying that I shouldn't go there. I had people saying that that school wasn't for the type of dancer that I was at the time. That was the only art school that I applied to. Like, I didn't apply anywhere else for dance at all. I think I had an audition, actually I'm lying. I had an audition at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, but I never went to that audition.
Because you were so involved in dance, did it
Right.
feel like natural, like I'm just gonna apply to...
Right. Okay, so I mean, No, it didn't feel natural. Every other school that I had 5 full scholarships to be a high school math teacher. I was going to go to school to like teach or whatever at the time. And I was like, no, like I want to keep dancing. I want to keep training. Some of my friends are going there from like Grace, and I don't know. I wish I can go back and ask myself at that time, like what really was that decision that you made? But I made it, and I'll leave that there. This one's a stomper because I like to use my life as an influence for my work. So it's hard to like pinpoint like a who or what. Some pivotal moments like in who I am right now. Definitely my junior year of college. It was this class junior seminar facilitated by Lauren Bass. Basically, we worked with like this text, 6 Memos of the New Millennium by Matteo Calvino. And we came once a week and we would like read a chapter, and we would have to do these like journal entries, and we have to write papers and things like in response to like what we were reading, and kind of using our own practices and things like that. So that was the first moment I feel like in that timeline that like someone was asking me what I thought, like directly. And you don't get that a lot growing up in like the inner city, the black dance schools. Like it's very much stand how I tell you to stand, think how I tell you to think, you know, or whatever. So it felt very like, I want to say like relaxing being in that class. We had a blast, but yeah, I think that's one of my wins. And then also I'm inspired right now by Training Company. So Training Company of Grace, the studio that I have been at for the past 10, 12 years. The past 5 years I've been there, rehearsal director recently. The work ethic that this current group, this past group that I just had, really like woke up a part of me that reminded me of that chunk of time that I told you about when I was like 15 to 17. That part of me has kind of been, I'm not gonna say like dead to be dramatic, but I haven't had to work like that in a very long time. So, you know, watching them work like that and forcing me to work like that is just, you know, it's been a time for sure. The hardest thing that I deal with being a creative, being a choreographer, dancer, is not having to, but when you create things, okay, like it goes from your heart to your head, to paper, to your friends, to conversation, like like ideas and things transform so much, and then it like becomes itself. And then you put it out into the world, and then it's like, and then people respond to it, and you still may feel like, but you know, I think that whole having to repeat that so much is like exhausting. I'll say it's exhausting, but I think that's the hardest thing. And of course, like with different examples, there's going to be, you know, different things inside of that. But like that's definitely one of the hardest things, just having to keep like yourself online, like having to keep yourself in front of these rooms, and like things you say out your mouth, and like things that you create, like it like lives forever. Like once it's out, and then it's like, I don't know.
Do you feel pressure to share your art?
I don't think I feel pressure to, because it is something that I do like to do. I remember being at this point of my life where I was so hard on myself about sharing and about the things that I would make, that now I'm just allowing for whatever comes to just come out, and people can do what they want with the information. You know what I mean? Like I took the pressure off of it in that way, because that made it 10 times harder. So if I feel like sharing, you know, a little pirouette, I'm gonna share a little pirouette. If I feel like getting dressed, I'm gonna get dressed. If I feel like, you know, posting a picture of the sky and whatever, like y'all can do what y'all want with the information. So, yeah.
Any highlight moments of your career so far?
I have had the pleasure to work with Solange Knowles. I've had the pleasure to work with J. Cole. I've had the pleasure to work with Dixon. I've had the pleasure to work with Adam Blackstone. I've had the pleasure to work with Gerard and Kelly. They've been a very key component to like, you know, just stepping into this world of, you know, the commercial and like those in front of camera things. I've also had the pleasure to work with a lot of the different companies in Philadelphia. I hold them to the same value as I hold all the other experiences that I've had, because they're all teaching me, shaping me, and helping me regurgitate, you know, things. So those are my key players for right now. And if I forgot something important, I'm so sorry.
I know some people can like imagine themselves like, oh, like I knew I was going to be here. Is that like something that you feel like you've experienced, or like you couldn't even have imagined this? Like,
Nah. And I think that's why I'm so like smiley, because it's like you don't see it coming at all. You feel it. I felt it. I felt something, and I still feel something. I still don't feel like I'm at that. You know what I mean? So, but it was more of so a feeling than I knew this was going to happen. But I'm trying to work my mentality in a way that, you know, I know that these things are going to happen, because I've watched manifestation like really do the thing. So I'm really trying to be there mentally for sure. Junior year, I would definitely tell that version of myself to leave. And I think like not leave, I mean definitely finish school, of course, but like you don't have to prepare yourself. There's no way for you to prepare yourself for the things that are coming, because you don't know what's coming. I mean, no time has been wasted, but everything that I've done past that point, I feel like that Jon could have done anywhere, if that makes sense. So don't be afraid to kind of like go and let go. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're kind of taking that advice now, like?
Oh yeah. It's hard. This transition is hard, because it's like so much like weight in terms of like the who and the what's and the where's in Philadelphia, and trying to like line things up for people to still be successful in my absence. When I came back from Milan from doing the Hermes Fashion Week performance, I was on an airplane and I was just sitting there like, this flight is so long. I just remember being like, I can't wait to land, I can't wait to like stop doing this, you know? And of course, I don't want to live in Milan, but just in general, like the thought of like having to do this in order to like kind of follow my dreams and whatnot, I'm just ready to kind of be in a place where I could wake up, walk outside, and do what I have to do. And being in Philly, like I don't have that luxury. Like for the past 2, 3 years, 4 years, like that's crazy. Yeah, the past 4 years, like, oh my God, flights. I can't come. I have to be gone for 2 weeks. Oh, can someone cover this for me? Can someone do this for me? Like, I'm depriving people of, you know, a full 360 education. I felt like, you know what I mean? Like they should have somebody that can be committed in the way that can be present with them, you know? And that's just like solely my kids, and also like with my actual work. Like I was a math teacher this past school year, 6th grade, but even with them as well, like I want it better for them in that way. And I know that what I'm leaning towards wasn't going to be enough for them. So I just felt like not only was I tired of flying around, but also I wanted to get out their way. It's kind of like a selfless thing a little bit, but also, you know, a for me type of thing. And also, you know, people die here. Yeah. A lot of things die here. I've seen a lot of like people that maybe started dancing with me back when I was 13 and like don't dance at all. Like people that I looked up to or like would watch, you know, to see how they were doing what they were doing, so I can like learn things about myself, physically for that matter. But I see a lot of dreams die here. I feel like it's easy to get complacent here, because Philly is just a good time. It's a vibe. You can chill. It's so much to do that will keep you in that loop of doing those things to make yourself feel good. You know what I mean? So I have to get away from it. It's that routine. And I have a routine. Listen, it's a good time, but I have to have a good time somewhere else. I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to like go there, be there, like have a home there. I've been blessed to like, when I do go to LA, I stay with my best friend Antonio, and I like take him to work, go out, have a day, you know what I mean? Like I've lived there. I've been there. I spend time there. I've been alone there. So I'm just ready to kind of like figure out what else is there for me, I guess. Yeah.
Is a piece that you choreographed that you're both like proud of, like that is a work of art, put it in the museum, put it in the history book?
I don't know. I love everything. It's really gonna be all of them. I put my foot in everything. Emotionally, I put my heart in everything. Like, so that's definitely a difficult one. But yeah, let's go with that Tierra Wet combination. One, because, okay, so a little bit about my process, right? When I'm creating something, 11 times out of 9, I'm in the studio with a friend. I'm in the studio with Bree. Like, I can't figure it out on my body. That's one thing. And I've been kind of like stuck in that for a very long time, slightly coming out of it. And during that, when I was making that Tierra Red combination, that was in 2021, I want to say at this point. That was the first time that I like really made something on my body, you know, taught it, and like was happy with how, you know, it looked. You know what I mean? Without really having like consult anybody. So that was like a turning point for me. And I feel like since then, like I'll still go to the studio and do the thing with my friends, but I'm also comfortable with like sitting there and figuring it out on my body. So that was a good one. There's so many though. I feel like I'm only going to say this piece because I've been watching it recently, but my senior thesis from college has made a return to my heart literally this past couple days. That piece is called Still 3/5, which is supposed to be kind of like a jab at when black people weren't allowed to vote. We're only considered 3/5 of a person. So I just created this like dialogue between social media. Oh, that's what it was. So the hashtag at the time, I was thinking about what this hashtag was that I used in that piece. It was a time on Twitter back in like 2018 where like it was some hashtag about Harriet Tubman. Tweet like the 1600s, and they were like going crazy, like going in with like, you know, different slavery tweets. Yeah. And because like I know how Twitter works, you know what I mean? I've been on since 2009, so I know like we had that side of Twitter that's like we're going to joke about the serious stuff. But it got to the point where it was like, yo, you got other types of people chiming in on this, and we're like, yeah, we gonna say something about it. I'm not gonna say nothing to y'all, but I'm gonna say something about it. So that's what I was saying earlier about like using things in my life that I had to say to like go through my artwork or whatever. But it was like we use like Twitter, we use social media, we use social dance, we use politics, we use just like satire to talk about how we're still dead as a people. But yeah, we just use like satire and whatnot to describe how that's still very much alive today. So the songs that I used were Just the Two of Us, Grover Washington. I used Kendrick Lamar, XXX. And then I used Black People. That's the satire of the piece. And then I also used What a Wonderful World, just to kind of like, you know, do that dual meaning thing within my work. So yeah, that one definitely hits home. And then Feels So Good is a piece that I did on Training Company last season. It's to Beyonce's Be Alive that she did for the King Richard film. That song was written by Dixon and Beyonce, so that was like a full circle moment for me as well, getting to work with him. Yeah, that piece was something more so for the girls, and they are amazing. They're amazing. So I'll say those three pieces right now. I feel like I'm doing a disservice to so much of my work, but it's really okay. Yeah. I have some expectations. I expect to continue to make decisions that's going to leave me stable. Like that's one of the highest expectations that I've had for myself, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally. Like, okay, you've had enough practice at home, like implement, you know what I mean? So that's one of the things. The second thing that I expect from myself is to show up for myself. As creatives, we can get stuck in that, like, I need to lay down for a week. I need to not create for a week. I need to not go to class. I need to not because of however this recent thing made me feel. So I expect for myself to show up. I want to hold myself accountable to do that. And also I just expect to, you know, make people proud. A lot of people have sown a lot into my life, between my family, friends, like my community. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people that are looking towards me to continue the things that I either said I was going to do or spoke about or talked about or raved about. So I want to meet that relationship halfway while I'm out there. But other than that, I have no expectations, like in terms of people and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it, what's going to look like, what I'm going to look like. I don't care, because it's going to get there when it gets there, you know. I've been thinking a lot about how we say goodbye and why we say goodbye. Yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Who told you, like, you should join a class? Like,
Yo, this is T. I'm having fun.
I'm glad you're talking.
Yeah, I am.
She's answering the question. I can say what she's talking about.
So thank God, yes.